Could a trial dripping with silks and scandal truly hold a nation's attention more than a brewing war? Did a woman's secret, whispered in smoky London rooms, threaten to unravel the very fabric of the empire? And what if the most shocking revelation wasn't the adultery itself, but the uncomfortable truth about who was judging it? April 15, 1776, Westminster Hall. Imagine a space designed for solemn pronouncements, now choked with oppressive bodies, not just lords and ladies, but merchants, journalists, and wide-eyed onlookers, all jostling for a glimpse of the spectacle. The air itself seemed thick with expectation, a heady mix of perfume, sweat, and the faint scent of apprehension. The trial of the Duchess of Kingston wasn't just a legal proceeding, it was a national obsession. Bathurst, Lord High Steward, a man whose very name suggested a weighty responsibility, surveyed the scene with a practiced air of authority. He'd orchestrated this event with a meticulousness bordering on theatrical, transforming a simple divorce case into a grand, public performance. His carriages, a 5 gleaming green, one a blinding white emblazoned with Bathurst's crest and the motto Tyne ta foy, weren't just transport, they were statements. A deliberate, ostentatious display of power designed to amplify the gravity of the proceedings. Then, disaster struck. Just 30 yards from the hall, the axle of his state coach gave way with a deafening crack, sending the entourage sprawling. A minor inconvenience, perhaps, but a potent symbol of the day's unfolding chaos. Bathurst, surprisingly composed, dusted himself off and continued, his dignity and his carefully constructed image largely intact. Meanwhile, the Duchess of Kingston was arriving with a different kind of stealth. Abandoning the gilded carriage that screamed noblewoman, she opted for a simple chair, a deliberate act of defiance and a shrewd calculation. 18th century London wasn't known for its restraint, and the thought of a royal procession being pelted with mud and eggs was a very real concern. 2 weary chairmen burdened with the weight of her privacy struggled through the crowded streets of Knightsbridge, a journey of nearly 2 miles that felt like an eternity. At 11 a.m., the moment arrived. The procession of the lords into Westminster Hall was a spectacle of unparalleled grandeur. 20 ushers, removing their hats in a synchronized bow to an invisible king, formed the vanguard. Behind them, the eldest sons of the peers and minor lords filed past, followed by the legal clerks and masters of chancery, each a miniature embodiment of the legal system. But it was the entrance of the dukes that truly stole the show. 6 men draped in opulent robes trimmed with ermine moved with a deliberate, almost ceremonial pace. The Duke of Cumberland, a prince of the blood, entered alone, his train borne by an attendant, a move that, according to one observer, did not become a nobleman. Edward Pigott, a keen observer of courtly manners, found the Duke's entrance theatrical, a stark contrast to the dignified procession of the other lords, and the audience. A swirling mass of humanity, estimated at 4,000 strong, a kaleidoscope of silks, jewels, and simmering gossip. Ladies adorned with enough diamonds to blind a small village filled the galleries, their conversations punctuated by gasps and whispers. A newspaper account described the scene as a more solemn, august, and at the same time brilliant appearance than the court in Westminster Hall cut yesterday. The east side of the hall blazed with reflected sunlight, illuminating the glittering jewels, a reported £4 million worth, and creating an almost hallucinatory effect. Then, the Duchess entered. A stark contrast to the Lord's opulent display, she appeared in a long black mourning gown, her hair pulled back in a discreet bun, a black hood shadowing her face. She wasn't attempting to compete with the Lord's grandeur. Instead, she was adopting a posture of profound humility, kneeling before Bathurst and the assembled peers as if seeking divine absolution. "Madam, you may rise," Bathurst commanded, his voice cutting through the hushed anticipation. She obeyed, dropping a polite curtsy, a gesture that was met with a dismissive bow from the jury. Anna Porter, a keen observer of the proceedings, noted the Duchess's unconcerned, seemingly unaffectedly so, demeanor, concluding that she really looked handsome. The assembled lords, however, were less charitable. Lady Harrington, a notorious gossip, declared, "The devil confound her, how brazen the wretch looks." Hannah More, a woman known for her moral sensibilities, found the Duchess's appearance small and ill-shaped. The Duchess's words, delivered with a surprising firmness, were a calculated defense. "As I am innocent of the crime laid to my charge, I therefore have no fears arising from any other cause than that of appearing before so awful a tribunal," she stated, appealing to the Lord's sense of justice. She reminded them of her perilous journey from Rome, suffering from a severe illness, and emphasized her reliance on their most honorable and impartial tribunal. Bathurst's response was terse. "Madam, you will do well to give attention while you are arraigned on your indictment." And with that, the trial began, but the Duchess's ordeal was far from over. The scandal surrounding her trial quickly spiraled into a series of related legal battles. A libel case against Reverend William Jackson, her publicist, accused him of spreading damaging rumors about her. And then there was the sensational case against Samuel Foote, the famous actor who was accused of attempted sodomy, a charge that carried the death penalty. These cases, intertwined with the Duchess's trial, revealed a darker undercurrent to the proceedings. The British aristocracy, already reeling from a wave of sex scandals, was desperately trying to contain the damage. The Duchess's trial became a convenient distraction, a way to draw attention away from the indiscretions of the powerful and privileged. Historians now suggest that the Duchess's trial and the surrounding scandals were a symptom of a broader societal shift. A growing middle class, increasingly critical of aristocratic privilege, was demanding accountability and challenging the established norms of sexual conduct. The trial of the Duchess of Kingston wasn't just a legal case, it was a proxy battle in a larger struggle for social and political power. Could a trial dripping with silks and scandal truly hold a nation's attention more than a brewing war? Did a woman's secret, whispered in smoky London rooms, threaten to unravel the very fabric of the empire? And what if the most shocking revelation wasn't the adultery itself, but the uncomfortable truth about who was judging it?